So we asked Fran to join because she's an amazing creative person doing all kinds of awesome work in Portland, and it's really hard to narrow it down. I'm pulling up a slide for you, Fran, that shows some of the links to the work and the organizations that you're involved with.
Oh, good Lord, I'm wearing the same shirt right now.
Yes, thank goodness, because it is the most amazing shirt and everyone needs to know about it.
Come on, I should change my shirt right now.
Please turn your camera off. I can't be responsible for that.
Oh my gosh.
Fran is the amazing shirt wearer and founder and creator of a creative production studio called JOOP Creative. Also co-founded and helps run now, since some leadership transition, which is awesome, SnackBlocPDX, which I hope you'll tell us about. And this is news, so also Phyllis in Portland, leading all the creative parts of the Write In Teresa Rayford campaign. So
cool.
Can you tell us about all those things and also how you sleep?
Oh gosh, I'm not a morning person, so I really want to let you know I am pulling through right now for this thing. I really appreciate you inviting me to this space, and I know it's been a wild ride, for the last couple months, and yeah, I started JOOP about a year and a half ago in January of last year, and it was really out of the need and necessity for me to try to create some space for myself and my community. I'm 41 years old, and I'm kind of a jack of all trades, dip my hands in a lot of different things, and was kind of having a hard time finding a job or finding a place that I could fit in ad agency, creative agency, film and TV world. And so, it's that kind of thing where if you can't find the space for a while, you kind of have to create it for yourself. I found that to be true even in my activism living in Portland. I lived here since 2004. And yeah, it's been really, really challenging to find my community. But I think after Ferguson happened in 2014, I believe, I kind of put my activist pants on and really started to seek out my BIPOC activist community in Portland, which you can only imagine was very small in the first place. And luckily I've seen it grow exponentially since then, which is really great. But yeah, JOOP basically is a radical creative agency, and I just apply a social justice framework to all the work that I do because I've been a community organizer and an activist since I was 17 years old. So it's kind of just ingrained in me. And I'll be honest, how I fell into becoming a community organizer kind of just was out of rebellion. I'm a first generation Thai American, and all the things that I do are things that my parents do not want for me. And a really funny story was, we've been marching for Black Lives Matter for a month now as of yesterday. And about halfway through, or maybe about 2 weeks in, I guess I should say, my mom called me frantically and was like, "Did you get the lychees that I sent you?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" My mom sent me a 20-pound box of lychees that were just sitting on my porch, like rotting in the sun for 2 weeks because I have not been home really. And she was like, what are you doing? Where have you been?" And I said, "Oh, I'm handing out some snacks to some people outside that are marching, And then she's like, "Ugh, not this again." We're having the same conversation that we're having when I was 17 years old, now I'm 41. So it's definitely kind of come full circle as far as like, oh, I'm still this person, will always be this person. And my parents will still probably never completely understand what it is that I do, because I also have very limited sort of vocabulary and being able to explain to them in Thai what it is that I do. And even with JOOP, I try to tell my mom like, "Oh yeah, I do photo shoots and I do music videos and I do this kind of stuff," and she still can't really wrap her brain around it. But, in the end, I'm really happy that that I've been able to create the space in Portland, because I found that, most of my community are all of these incredible, BIPOC queer, women, non-binary, multidisciplinary creatives. And I really just wanted to use this platform to be able to create space for them and, you know, see some imagery that I don't really get to see. And I think especially because it's so Portland focused at the moment, that it's a really great way to lift, you know, the very, very small and, you know, marginalized population of brown and Black folks that live here. And then with SnackBlock, SnackBlock started about 3 years ago after 45 had gotten elected. And it was really because I saw, you know, 10,000 people out every single night marching, and it was a lot of people's first time, just like it is kind of right now. And so I kind of saw this need to provide some, you know, supplies and snacks and stuff for folks that were going to be out marching or protesting all day. So, you know, the cool thing about SnackBlock is that it can be a whole huge organization, or it can just be a person handing out snacks. It's more kind of like an ideology, you know, really talking about mutual aid and community support. And initially 3 years ago, you know, we had dog therapy sometimes, we would have childcare, we would have mental health support. You know, we really tried to think about all the different ways that we could help make coming to protests and march individuals more accessible to all kinds of folks. And so, of course, with George Floyd happening and Black Lives Matter movement kind of, you know, really coming through in full force in a way that I've really not ever seen in my lifetime. And also due to people being inside for the last 3 months or 4 months now via COVID, you know, it was just, everything came together at the exact same time in a way that really is propelling the movement. And SnackBlock, you know, came through the first day at Peninsula Park for that vigil. And that was really weird. You know, it was like 3 months of being inside. And then the first time that I basically went out, I went to a park and hung out with 1,000 people. And then the next day it was 1,500 people. And then the next day it was 2,000 people. And the next day, you know, exponentially bigger and bigger. And so now, you know, my life for the last month is, you know, having meetings all day, leaving to go do SnackBlock at 5:30, doing that for a couple hours and having more meetings, accepting donations, and then bringing down some supplies to the queer and BIPOC camps over down by the Hawthorne Bridge. And then I go home, you know, around 2 a.m. So it's been pretty intense. And for the last week, I finally was able to get my sort of adrenaline levels down a little bit. And now I'm beginning to be able to, oh my God, there's the cat walking behind your head. There's, yeah, just been able to kind of sleep and eat like regular as in before, where I was just literally playing Animal Crossing for 3 months. So it was, I had my rest, and then, yeah, so now here we are. So yeah, today we are actually doing an action over at Peninsula Park today to help support and protest the all the issues with unemployment. And then at 4:30, we're joining with the Abolish ICE action that's happening downtown, marching over to the immigration office, which is in between the Justice Center and Terry Shrunk Plaza. And then tonight at 8 p.m., we're throwing a block party underneath the Hawthorne Bridge where the Veracats Eastside Esplanade is, kind of like a volunteer appreciation party for the block party that we had Saturday, but also with the Good Project, which is a bus that's on tour that kind of collaborate and bring awareness to activism in local communities via a party, which is something that I really like doing. So yeah, all those things are happening today. And then the other huge project is that I am, or JOOP is handling the official write-in campaign for Teresa Rayford. You know, at this point, the two people who are running are folks that, you know, I absolutely do not trust, and people that I do not want in charge of my well-being at all whatsoever. So with Teresa, you know, I've been organizing side by side with her with SnackBlock and Don't Shoot Portland, which is her nonprofit. And yeah, got the call about a month ago asking if I would help to facilitate a writing campaign. I have never done anything like this. So if there's any like political consultants or any graphic designers out there or web developers that really have a good background or knowledge in anything like this, I would love to hear from you. I could really use that support. So she's running for mayor. Well, she's not running for mayor. It's a write-in campaign. So Ted and Sarah are running, and basically Teresa has ran for commissioner a couple of years ago, and then there was a write-in campaign for her 2 years ago for sheriff, and then she ran for mayor this time. And so just with the movement and everything, I think that we have a real chance to have an amazing radical Black woman activist as our mayor, and I think it's about time. I honestly think Ted and Sarah should probably step down, but that is a whole nother thing, kind of practicing what we're preaching right now when you're out in the streets every single day, marching for Black Lives Matter. I feel like there's some actionable things that can happen. So yeah.
Oh, Fran, whoa. That's so many things. I appreciate you sharing.
I know.
Everything that you're doing. I think it's important to remind like folks in Portland, all the stuff that you mentioned is stuff that they can definitely get on the ground and support. And if they check out the Instagram channels, I know you have a survey where people can designate what kind of support they can offer. And if you're in Portland or not in Portland, all of these things are things that need money to run. Snacks are not free. So snacks and other things. So everyone please, and I'm especially and specifically talking to our white creative audience, show up and put your money and your time into these efforts too, because they're important and we need to show up for them and follow leadership from folks like Fran. All right. Thank you, Fran, so much. I know I'm loving the hearts from this show.
I know, everybody's really sweet. Thank you so much for supporting me. And, I will always be this person, fighting for all of us to be able to be heard and be seen. So, any kind of support y'all can throw towards my way, I'm very appreciative of it. And I'll put my email and stuff in the chat so y'all can find me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Fran.